Hi and welcome to the channel. Now, this video was gonna come out, I think, 2 days from now, but the thing is, when I woke up in the morning, I found a headline that read 408 million had already been given in the Hustler Fund in 12 hours. So I thought to myself, wait, have people actually read the terms and conditions of this Hustler Fund? And why are people borrowing this quickly without having read them? Because I have them with me, and it's about 12 pages of terms and conditions. And you know me, if something is new and it has been introduced to people, I will actually go through the terms and conditions and talk to you, because with my banking background, this is exactly in my wheelhouse. So the truth of the matter is, I honestly did not bother to watch whatever was happening yesterday. But the thing is, this is something that I know the current government had promised to bring up, and it was launched yesterday. So the thing I know is, this is just the first phase of this program or this fund. I am not very optimistic about it, because lending needs to be rethought in this country, but that's another story. But the next phase will be launched in February. So what I want us to do in this particular video, I want us to go through the terms and conditions. And these ones are the terms and conditions relating to the Hustler Fund savings and loan product. Because if I went and just did a video about how to be able to borrow the Hustler Fund, then that wouldn't necessarily help you, because this video will be, even though not live, will be uncut from start to finish. So let's go through the terms and conditions. So the first thing is, this is an agreement that sets out the terms and conditions, hereinafter called the terms and conditions, which shall be applicable to the Hustler Fund savings and loan product as hereinafter defined, opened by you as hereinafter defined with the bank. So this is one of the Kenyan banks which is doing this. I don't want to name the bank. So definitions, there's a bank. Bank means this bank that is incorporated in Kenya. Then the customer means the person, means the subscriber to whom the services relates. Then customer care center means any, and this is for telecom, means any telecom retail shops or bank branch or such other bank agent or agents as may be notified to the customer by the bank from time to time. Then e-money means the electronic monetary value depicted in your T-Cash account representing an equal amount of cash. Then equipment includes your mobile phone handset, SIM card, and any other equipment. Then Hustler Fund savings and loans product means the products under the fund which targets individuals. Then the fund means the Hustler Fund, established through the Public Finance Management, which is the Financial Inclusion Fund Regulations 2022, issued and published under the Public Finance Management Act 2012. Then the next thing is, Hustler Fund account means your mobile money store of value, being the record maintained by the bank of the amount of money from time to time held by you in the Hustler Fund. Interest rate shall mean the rate 8% per annum or such other loan rate as may be approved and communicated from time to time, or such interest rate as a bank may from time to time apply to savings products. Now, that is important for you to get. One thing you need to get is, right now, the interest rate is 8% per annum, which means 8% per year. Later, when we go through the terms and conditions, we'll confirm whether it is flat rate or reducing, but that is neither here nor there. 8% is the cheapest product in the market, but note that 8% may not be the rate that will persist for the life of this product in its many iterations, because this is a government product. That's the only reason that this rate is possible for you, because in the current market, the central bank benchmark rate is above 9%. The last time I checked, it was 9%. So that means that you are actually getting at less than the CBK interbank rate, which then means that this has not priced in any risk for the banks. This means that the government is okay with losing money on this product, because if they put the Hustler Fund just to be lent among banks, then the government would actually make money. So in my opinion, that's a good plus for the product itself, because it's not just about the money, it's not just about how much money they can generate. Because let me do some quick math. So if the government decided that this 50 billion, and I'm looking for my calculator. Where's my calculator? Here it is. So if we decided 50, 1, 2, 3, that's 1,000, that's million, that's billion, times 0.09 lent in the interbank rate, that would mean 4.5 billion. So wait, 0.09 times 50 billion, yes, 4.5 billion. So if the bank decided that it would just, if the government decided that it would just save this amount for the year, they can make 4.5 billion. But if they are able to turn this around every 14 days, and we'll go through the actual rate so that you can see how much money the government is bound to make through this program. But of course, we'll go through other things, and I'll give you my thoughts at the very end. Then IPRS means the Integrated Population Registration System, set up and maintained by the government of Kenya under the Ministry of State for Immigration and Registration of Persons and its successors. IPRS is a system where IDs are. So typically when you go to open a bank account, or even when you're opening a mobile money account, this is a system that the bank or the telco will actually go to confirm your details so that they know it is actually you. If you input the ID number, it picks from the government IPRS system. The network means a mobile cellular network. Personal information includes is not limited to name, address, phone number, identification number, and location data. This is personal identifiable information. And then PIN is your personal identification PIN, which is a secret code. And request is any request of instruction received by the bank from you or purportedly from you through the network. That's very sneaky language, because purportedly from you means that it is possible that someone can it is possible that someone can swap your phone and request for the Hustler Fund, and you would still be liable for it because it is purportedly from you. Please note that. So that's the main reason why I'm going through this, so that you can understand what you're getting into. Then the next thing is services, which shall include any form of financial services or products that the bank may offer you pursuant to this agreement, as you may from time to time subscribe to, and service shall be construed accordingly. SIM card means the subscriber identity module, which when used with the appropriate mobile phone handset enables you to access the network. SMS is a short message service. System is the telco service. Then the accounts, service, subscriber, the transaction fees, which we'll go through. And then let's look at the loan product. That was just definitions. Let's look at the loan product. So the Hustler loan product administered by the two banks, administered by KCB or Family Bank Limited, has the following key features. These are the features of the loan itself. Number one, the principal loan amounts under the product shall range from 500 shillings to 50,000 shillings. Now, let me go back to, because we'll go through this, let me go back to how many people have borrowed this loan. So there's about 408 million that has been given out in the last 12 hours. Now, let's just suppose that everyone got the amount of money, the total, the maximum, which is 50,000. That means that 8,000 people borrowed and got the Hustler Loan Fund. Now, let me know in the comments below if you've tried this product, which is *254#, or on the M-Pesa app, or on the telco app or Airtel app, it's *254#. What's the limit that you've been given? So on average, let's say on average, people are getting about 10,000 bob, because that's where I expect most people to be. That means you have about 40,000 people who've borrowed in the last 12 hours. And I'm sure they have no idea about these terms and conditions. Let's go through them. So to be eligible, number one, a person must be a Kenyan citizen of at least 18 years. That's normal. You cannot get into a contract if you're less than 18 years. Number two, the person must have a valid ID. Number three, you shall be eligible to borrow between 500 to 50,000 depending on the credit score developed by the bank. This is not the credit score that is used by the CRB. This, they mean that now they will develop their own credit score, but you and I know, okay, I know they will use the same one that is offered by Metropole and TransUnion. So let's go to the next one. Then a person must have a SIM card registered with this telco. So when I read telecom, it means Safaricom as well. It means Airtel as well. Let's just go through the same. And be a registered subscriber of the mobile money services. A person must have used a SIM card for at least 3 months from the date of registration. This, I think, is good, because then that means that people just won't go and register a line today and get a limit today. So you need to have used your line, especially the mobile money service, so that you can be able to actually get these services. Then the next thing, the term of the loan shall be 14 days and interest shall be charged at the rate of 8% per annum. Interest shall be accrued daily until repayment in full within 14 days. This is where you need to understand exactly what that means. So 8% per annum means that if you borrow 50,000 and you stay with it for 1 full year, then you'll pay 8% on top. So let's go through the math. So if you do 50,000 shillings, and then you do 8%, that is 4,000 shillings for the year. But remember, this loan is not being given for a whole year. This loan is being given for 14 days. So suppose we just divide this by 12, that will give us about 333 for the month. And if we do this for 14 days, which is half a month, divide that by 2. So if you borrow 50,000 shillings, you will pay 50,166. But let's go through. That's just the interest component. Interest shall be accrued daily until repayment in full within 14 days. So this means that, in fact, what you do is take the 4,000, which would have accrued over 365 days. Let's just pick 360 just to be safe. Then that means that you will be paying an interest. The accrued interest will be 11 shillings if you do not pay the full amount in total. So then this is accruing daily. So if you pay earlier than the 14 days, you'll just pay for the days that this loan has been in force. Then the next thing is the loan shall be advanced to eligible persons through the mobile money wallet. The Hustler Fund Savings and Loans product shall have a savings component. Now, when I heard about this, and I haven't even read through it, but when I heard about this, it looks like a good idea. However, if you are coming to borrow some money and you have a project that is going to cost you 10,000 shillings, if I give you 9,000 shillings, then that essentially means you have not been able to do the project that you wanted the money from. This is assuming that the people who are borrowing this fund are actually going to use them for an actual purpose. They're not just borrowing for the sake of borrowing, which I know so many people are doing because the money seems free. But let's go through it. So the Hustler Fund Savings and Loans product shall have a savings component as follows. 1.5% of the loan advanced shall be deducted to go towards savings. This is the savings deduction. Okay, let's go together. So we are borrowing, in this case, 50,000 shillings. And then we have 1.5%, which is going to savings, which is a savings deduction. So from 50,000, that's 750 shillings. So that essentially means that you will get your money 50,000 less already the 750, which now will go directly to savings. Then 30% of the savings deductions, bear with me here, this is 30% of 750 shall be applied to a savings account, and then the 70% of the savings deduction shall be applied towards the customer's pension. Okay, so what will happen here is 0.3 times 750 here, which is 225 shillings, will be put in a savings account, and then the amount of 0.7 times 750, which is 525, will be put towards your pension. Now, for me, if I'm contributing 525 every 14 days, borrowing 50,000, returning it every 14 days, then that is a good thing for me, because that will be times 2 times 12. That means a saving of 12,600. Remember, with NSSF, it's 200 bob per month, which is useless. But let's hope that this pension remittance that is happening here will be put into good use and not be picked by someone who works at this office. But let me stop being very cynical and continue reading the terms and conditions. Let's go to the next thing. So an added feature of the Hustler Fund savings and loan product is that the government of Kenya shall match the pension remittance of a customer who has not defaulted on a loan in the ratio of 2 to 1, such that for every 2 shillings saved, the government shall add 1 shilling to a maximum government contribution of 6,000 per annum. Now, this, for me, this is one of the revolutionary ideas of this product, because if you want pension to grow quickly, especially if you want to entice the people who are saving for their future to save even more, the thing that you would do is to try and match whatever they are doing. When I used to work for a bank, that's essentially what they would do. So you would get 1-to-1 if you're below 35 years, you'd get 1-to-1.5 if you're between 35 and 45, and then if you're above 45, the bank would actually do twice what you had done for that month. So that essentially told you that the more you did voluntary pension remittance as you worked for the bank, the more you'd actually get. And of course, it's important for people to be able to save as much as possible for their future, and to be able to have money so that by the time you're getting into your 50s, into your 60s, you're not asking people for money, you have money that you have. That is really good. So let's go to the next thing. If the loan has been fully repaid, the customer shall only be entitled to access the short-term savings after 365 days from date of disbursement of the loan. So this then essentially means that this saving that you have will only be accessible to you after 12 months, which for me, I feel 50-50 about, honestly, because the good part about it is that people will actually save and not pick this money that the government is trying to make people save, because in Kenya, people are not really good savers. So trying to make people actually save by reducing that instant gratification of I saved this money but I can be able to access it. So if I know that I'm going to access this after 12 months, most likely by the end of that 12 months, I shall have developed that discipline of knowing that this is money I'm saving for the future. Of course, what would have made it even better would have been that this saving that people are saving here should have been invested in something that can make some little interest. Because if it's just lying as a deposit on the bank or the telco, then it's losing value. It doesn't make sense for me. So the next thing is, in the event of default by the customer, which means non-payment within 14 days from the date of disbursement, interest shall accrue at the rate of 9.5% per annum, which will be effective from the 15th day. If the customer fails to pay by the 30th day from the date of disbursement, the customer's credit rating may be reviewed by the bank, which may result in a review of the customer's assigned credit limit. The interest applied on the loan shall accrue on a daily basis from the date of loan disbursement until the 365th day or such other earlier date upon which the loan may have fully been repaid. So if you do not pay by the 14th day, the interest rate in this case will be increased by 1.5%, which means that 1.5% is a penalty rate, interest rate. So now your loan will be accruing at 9.5%. So let's look at what that essentially means for you. So in this case, we have at 50,000, and suppose you have not paid, so then that means that you'll have done 0.08 times 14 over 360, which is the interest rate, and then that is 155 shillings. So you'll actually be owing 51.55, and then now you'll be paying at 0.95. So for a month, that is 30 over 360, you'll be paying an interest of 397 per month. So if we do this for a whole year, then that means that by the end of the year, if you have not paid the 50,000, you'll be required to pay 50,000 plus 47.64. But I don't want you to get there, because this can be a good product that can actually help you grow your business. So let's go to the next thing. The bank, 3.1.7 says, in the event that the customer fails to repay the loan by the 30th day from the date of disbursement, the customer shall not be eligible to borrow from the fund until full repayment of all outstanding amounts. Now, I hope there are other penalties if you're not paying for 30 days, but this essentially means that if you are late between the 14th and the 30th day, there's still hope for you that you'll be able to borrow. But if you do not return their money in the 30 days, then you will not be able to access this fund anymore. Even though I believe with this, and I think we need to just go through it a little more, if I borrow less than my limit, ideally I should be able to access the balance of that limit if I want in another loan. Okay, but let's go through it. So 0.18 says the bank shall retain the 30% intended for short-term savings as described above in a suspense account until full repayment of the loan. Upon full repayment, the amount that is above here shall be released to the customer, who will be at liberty to withdraw it or keep it as savings. That's confusing, because earlier they had said that if the loan is fully repaid, the customer shall only be entitled to access the short-term savings after 365 days from date of disbursement. And now they're saying upon full repayment of the loan, the amount above shall be released to the customer, who will be at liberty to withdraw it. Let's move on. Legalese. Acceptance of the terms and conditions. Before applying for funds under the Hustler Fund Savings and Loan Funds product via the mobile money system, you should carefully read and understand these terms and conditions, which, from the way we are doing it, it's not that easy to understand, because we already went through something that seems to be contradicting, but I hope I'm wrong. So the first thing is, if you do not agree with these terms and conditions, please click decline on the Hustler Fund menu at *254#, which you guys are not going to read. You guys probably won't even reach where we are in this video. But I hope that you put this just at the back end and you listen to the whole thing. So let's go through it. You'll be deemed Let me go through this. You will be deemed to have read, understood, and accepted these terms and conditions upon clicking on the accept option on the Hustler Fund menu, requesting you to confirm that you have read, understood, and agreed to abide with these terms and conditions. Now, this means that you cannot go and say you did not understand exactly how you're supposed to pay this money back if you have already clicked on accept. And I know, I am very sure that the people who have already borrowed the 408 million in 12 hours, which for the government is a huge win, but I'm sure that people did not read the terms and conditions. But that's why I'm here. Terms and conditions guy. So let's go to the next thing. By using or continuing to use and operate the Hustler Fund and the services, you will have been deemed to have understood them. By applying for funds under this product, you agree to comply with and be bound by these terms and conditions for the time being, and from time to time enforce governing the operation of the Hustler Fund loan product, and you affirm that these T&Cs herein are without prejudice to any right that the bank or telco may have with respect to the Hustler Fund savings and loans product in law or otherwise. Now, the truth of the matter is we have no idea. These terms and conditions may be amended or varied from time to time, subject to at least 30 days prior notice to you. But the problem is you will still not read the terms and conditions even when you get a 30-day notice, because Wakenya ni nani? You will not read. The continued use of the services under the Hustler Fund, savings and loan products, and the services after lapse of the said notice constitutes your agreement to be bound by the terms of such amendment or variation. Now, the reason I have a problem with this, and the problem is this is in every single bank contract. The reason I have a problem with this is that if the interest rates are changed, you will be given a 30-day notice. If you already have a loan or you are already depending on these funds in order to be able to have your business survive, you may not necessarily agree with the terms and conditions, but for the fact that you are already using the product itself and continue to use the product, you will have been seen to have agreed. So if you don't want the terms and conditions, their polite answer to you is, we don't care. Leave the product. This was a product that was supposed to have been free at the very start. Remember when the president was actually campaigning and talking about the Hustler Fund, and I did a video about it as well. What was said was that this would be money that would be interest-free. That is even one of the reasons why people voted for him instead of the 6,000 bob stipend that people were supposed to get. So now this product already has 8%. If you decide to use it, you have accepted the terms and conditions. The rates, I can promise you, will not be 8% forever. They will change, or they will be moved from being flat rate or reducing balance wherever they are, because right now we haven't even gotten to the interest rate to find out whether they are flat rate or reducing balance. But we move on. So the next thing is account opening. The bank reserves the right to verify with the telco the authenticity and status of your mobile money account. You may access the Hustler Fund solely by way of electronic application made by you using your mobile phone via the Hustler Fund's product menu on the telco network, or by dialing star 254, or by any other means as being notified to you, because this fund is just starting. Then the next thing is you hereby consent and authorize the bank to request for, receive, record, disclose, or utilize your personal information held by Telcom pursuant to the agreement between you and Telcom for the provision of Telcom products and services and mobile money service, including your phone number, name, date of birth, ID or passport number, or such other information that will enable the bank to identify you and comply with the regulatory KYC requirements. You also hereby agree and authorize the bank to request the telco for information relating to your use of the mobile money service, the mobile money system, and services as a bank shall require for purposes of providing you the services, and in particular to determine your credit limit, you hereby consent to the disclosure of the aforesaid use of the personal information and the customer information by the bank. You hereby agree and authorize the bank to obtain and procure your personal information contained in the IPRS from the Government of Kenya, and you further agree and consent to the disclosure and provision of such personal information by the Government of Kenya to the bank. You hereby acknowledge and authorize the bank to verify your personal information received from the telco against the information received from the Government of Kenya in your request as contained in the IPRS. The bank reserves the right to request for further information from you pertaining to your application for a loan product at any time. Failure to provide such information within the time required by the bank may result in the bank declining to accept your application for a loan. This loan, these terms and conditions are normal. This is essentially what happens every single time you go to open a bank account. This essentially will still be opening a loan account with the bank, but they are using your telco history as your credit history. Nothing to write home about. Acceptance of your application for a hustler fund, loan fund shall be done via SMS sent to the mobile number associated with your T-Cash account. The bank reserves the right to decline your application for a loan. Loans are not automatic. Your requests. We are in 6.1. You hereby irrevocably authorize the bank to act on all requests received by the bank from you or purportedly from you through the system, and to hold you liable in respect thereof. The bank may nevertheless refuse to carry out any request which will result in there being an overdraft on your hustler funds, loan product, and your mobile money account. The telco and the bank shall be entitled to accept and to act upon any request if they believe that it can correct any incomplete or ambiguous information in the request without any reference to you being necessary. This is how banks operate anyway. When was the last time you were consulted by your bank? So the next thing here, 6.3, the telco and the bank shall be deemed to have acted properly and to have fully performed all the obligations owed to you, notwithstanding that the request may have been initiated, sent, or otherwise communicated in error or fraudulently, and you shall be bound by any request on which telco and the bank may act if they, in good faith and without negligence, acted in the belief that instructions were sent by you. Now, this one is a tough one, because what it essentially means is that the telco and the bank will be deemed to have acted properly, notwithstanding that the request that was not made by you, or made in error, or made fraudulently, if they did act in good faith. So essentially what that means is, if they believe that you're the one who made that request, even if you're not the one who made the request, and they were not negligent about it, then you shall have been deemed to have been the one who asked for that money. Let me put it in simpler terms. If someone steals your phone and they borrow a loan, and the bank has no reason to think that it could be someone else that is using your line, and they give out money, then the money is looked at as it was given to you. Keep yourself safe, man. You agree to and shall release from any indemnity the bank and the telco against all claims, losses, damages, and expenses, howsoever arising in consequence of or in any way related to their having acted in accordance with the whole or any part of any of your requests. You acknowledge that to the full extent permitted by law, these two parties shall not be liable for any unauthorized drawing, transfer, remittance, disclosure, any activity or any incident on your account by the fact or knowledge and or use or manipulation of your PIN, password, ID, or by any other means occasioned by your negligence. So sad. So first of all, most people, when there is unauthorized transfer, remittance, or disclosure or such activities, it is not by their negligence. There are scammers out there. And you guys need to be careful with them as well. So this is a sad terms and conditions. Very sad. You can only cancel your request by calling the customer care center and requesting cancellation. That's wrong. There should be a way that even on the app itself, I haven't gone to it because I don't even want to accept terms and conditions, but there should be a way that you can be able to cancel a loan request if you haven't made use of the funds, especially within the first 24 hours. It should be okay to cancel your request and the loan is taken back by the bank, because essentially you'll not have used any of those funds. They're still in your mobile money account. The savings component, the pensions component are all in the control of the bank, and especially in the first 24 hours, it should be possible to just cancel the request on the phone. I shouldn't have to call customer care in order to cancel my request for this loan, because this loan is already being given on my phone and I am not consulting anyone in the bank or at the telco to get the loan. So to cancel the loan, this should be a feature that you can be able to cancel this without having to talk to anyone. Banks, Hustler Fund, that should be a feature. Next, cancellation will, however, only be allowed where your request is revocable and has not yet been acted upon. If the telco or the bank is able to cancel your instruction, you may be charged for such cancellation. Now, that is wrong as well. Because if I haven't made use of the product, if I wanted the product, then changed my mind, then I shouldn't be charged for that, because I haven't made use of the loan product. Secondly, this particular 6.7 actually is a loophole, because what they will say is when they received the request, they acted on it. Because believe me, this Hustler Fund is not being done by the bank staff. It's actually being done by a system. So what they will say is once they receive, and because you want your money quickly, this you cannot cancel even a minute later. You cannot cancel 2 minutes later, because there's already a process that is flowing where they may already be checking whether you have a limit, and then they find out the limit that you have, you already qualify for it, and now you've asked for money and now they're giving you money. So essentially what they're saying is, in my opinion, is once you have asked for the money, you cannot cancel it. That's shady. And then on top of that, they will charge you for such cancellation, because they will say, believe me, this is exactly what will happen. They will say that the process had already started. We have incurred costs to do this particular facility. But you and I both know that the truth of the matter is those costs are not what they will charge you. They will make it punitive to the fact that you will not cancel any loan that you want to take with them. In the event of any conflict between any terms of any request received by the bank from you and these terms and conditions, the T&Cs shall prevail. Let's go to loan repayment. The bank may at any time give you notice in writing that if an accrued debt is not paid within a stipulated period from the date of receipt by you of the notice, then the telco, without further notice, frees your account from borrowing from the fund until payment in full. That's okay. Guys, you should pay your loans. At the end of the day, pay your loans. Repayment of any amount due includes but is not restricted to repayment of the interest and principal amount and may be made through partial payments or a full payment. That's good, because if I'm doing business and I've borrowed 50,000 for 14 days, then that essentially means that if I have 5,000 today, if I have 10,000 tomorrow, I should be able to pay. I hope that means that the interest rate, the interest payable per day will reduce with the amount. I hope that's what it means. It is agreed that the loan shall be available on an ongoing or continuous basis for a period of 14 days with a further period of up to 30 days from the first date of utilization of the loan. Any funds available in your Hustler Fund account shall be applied towards repayment of the amount due in the following order of priority. First, in repayment of unpaid interest. Secondly, towards repayment of the principal amount. That's neither here nor there. That's okay. So, statements, you may request for a statement or activity report in respect of your funds within the mobile money wallet through the applicable channels of the telco and menu. The statement shall not be sent to you in printed form, but shall be delivered to you via SMS to the mobile phone number associated with your T Cash account. I wish it was going to email. Save for a manifest error, a statement issued to you in the aforesaid manner shall be conclusive evidence of the transactions carried out on your mobile money wallet for the period covered in the statement. We reserve the right to rectify discrepancies, add or alter the entries in your statements without prior notice to you. You will, however, be informed of any rectifications, additions, and or alterations effected on your statements within a reasonable time after the changes are effected. I fail to see why there should be changes on the statement. What are they saying about this system? All notifications of transactions related to the Hustler Fund savings and loan product shall be by way of SMS, and the transaction charges for this service will be debited from your mobile money account. This SMS should be free. Customer complaints, you may contact the bank for any complaints. Then they will take all the measures within their means to resolve your complaints within a reasonable time. All complaints will be handled in accordance with the telco and the bank's complaints handling procedures, yada, yada, yada. Applicable tariffs will be charged by your telephone and ISP when communicating with the customer care center. Should be free. Taxes. Amounts in your mobile money wallet may be subject to taxes in accordance with applicable Kenyan, foreign, or international law. You consent and agree that we may withhold amounts in your mobile money wallet if any Kenyan or foreign tax authority requires us to do so. Wow. What? What? Now, this has never happened before. In order for the government to get a hold of the balances in your mobile money wallet or in the bank, they need a court order. So, you consent and agree that we may withhold amounts in your mobile money wallet if any Kenyan or foreign tax authority requires us to do so. So now, this so far is the sneakiest terms and conditions, which I think I should make a shot about this, because I don't think people will have been listening at 50 minutes on. So what essentially it says is that by accepting the terms and conditions of the Hustler Fund and you have an account, if you have money there, then you have authorized the telco and the bank to withhold amounts in your mobile money wallet if the KRA requires them to do so. Think about that. Me and the Hustler Fund. Under this fund, you'll be entitled, subject to these terms and conditions, to transfer money from your mobile money account and or make withdrawals wherein into your mobile money account as follows. Using the Hustler Fund menu on your device, you may apply for a loan from the fund, and if issued, the bank shall channel loaned funds under the Hustler Fund loan product to your mobile money account free of charge. That's good. You may access and withdraw funds from the Hustler Fund menu on your device, and the applicable transaction fees will, however, be charged on all the transactions once the funds are in the mobile money ecosystem. There will be no restrictions on the number of deposits into your mobile money wallet for the Hustler Fund loan product over any period, subject to a minimum deposit of 1 shilling. Subject to availability of sufficient funds to your mobile money wallet, there are no restrictions on the number of withdrawals you may make from your wallet over any period. You may withdraw up to the maximum allowable transactional limits under the mobile money service. Privacy policy. Collection of information. We collect certain personal information for compliance with our legal and contractual obligations to you, or to take steps to enter into an agreement with you, without which we are legally obligated to deny you the service. Apart from the legal obligation mentioned above, we also need to collect your personal information for quality service delivery. Please note that although this is voluntary, without such information, we may not be able to provide quality service. We are committed to respecting and protecting the privacy of the information we collect from you. Our privacy statement, in compliance with the requirements of the Data Protection Act 2019, as updated from time to time, explains how we treat your personal information, who we share your information with, and measures taken to protect your privacy when you use our service. This can be found on our websites. You hereby expressly consent, these are disclosures, you hereby expressly consent and authorize the bank to disclose, receive, record, or utilize your personal information or data relating to your Hustler Fund account and any details of your use of the service to and from the bank service providers, dealers, agents, or any other company that may be or become the bank's subsidiary or holding company for reasonable commercial purposes relating to the service, to a credit reference bureau, to the bank's lawyers, auditors, or other professional advisors, or to any court or arbitration tribunal in connection with any legal or audit proceedings, to the telcos or other business partners in connection with the mobile money service and other affiliated services for the purpose of fulfillment of a legal obligation or realizing legitimate interest, for the purpose of credit scoring for the services, for reasonable commercial purposes connected to your use of the services, such as marketing and research related activities, and in business practices, including but not limited to quality control, training, and ensuring effective systems operation. You also authorize the bank to disclose any information relating to your Hustler Fund account to any Kenyan, foreign, or international law enforcement or government agencies, so as to assist in the prevention, detection, investigation, or prosecution of criminal activities or fraud, or to any other institution or third party as required by the laws of Kenya or any other country, and or as the bank may deem necessary. In the event of death, your estate administrator will be granted access to your mobile money wallet upon production of administration letters from a competent authority, or confirmed grant of letters of administration, or confirmed grant of probate by your legal representatives duly appointed by the court. And then there is your equipment and responsibilities. Of course, here we've talked about this already. And then there is exclusion of liability. Then there is intellectual property rights. There is indemnity, variation and termination of relationship, and miscellaneous dispute resolution, jurisdiction, and arbitration. So apart from the thoughts that I've already shared about the Hustler Fund already in this video, here are my thoughts. Number one, the Hustler Fund is not for everyone. If you do not receive money regularly on a fortnight basis, on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, then this Hustler Fund is not for you. Please don't risk the 30 days, because at the end of the day, you'll lose a lot of money in the process. And for most people, if you're borrowing this money, then you're using it wrongly if you're not putting it in business. Because if you are borrowing for 14 days, then that means that you need to have put that money into the business. It's actually helped your business so that by the end of the 14 days, you have the 50,000 in this case out, plus the interest, plus the amount that you have already saved on the side. This money has actually boosted your business. So who is the Hustler Fund for? If you're a business person and you get your money every day, talk of your mama mbogas, people who are dealers at Wakulima Market, people who do business and they get money every single day, they get paid every single day for their services or products, then the Hustler Fund would actually be a good product. I know that in this first iteration, it's only 50,000 shillings. But if you want to be able to qualify for the next phase, in my opinion, then you would need to have already been using this product before for a number of times. Once or twice can do. The next thing is, please be careful, because especially with the term and condition about the fact that you have authorized them to get that if they get instructions from KRA, they can be able to withhold the money in your account. That is a dangerous one. That is one of those terms and conditions that if you have not read the terms and conditions, you would never see. So I hope this video has provided value to you. If you have any opinions about the Hustler Fund, what you think about it, these are my own opinions from reading the actual terms and conditions of the Hustler Fund. The reason why I do such a video, and I've done about the CBDC as well, I've done about the drone laws as well. The reason why I do this is because when you read the newspaper, when you listen to the news, you'll not get this side of the story. No one is actually going to go through the terms and conditions for you and try and give you an explanation of exactly what is going on. In a nutshell, the Hustler Fund is a good initiative. One of the biggest risks that I feel this Hustler Fund is going to face is repayment. Even with the fact that this is the cheapest facility that there is, this is going to probably be among the facilities that people take. Because in order for a facility to actually help people, they need to be educated about money, first of all. If you're not going to do financial education, you have no business providing financial services. That is my biggest qualm with this product, because Kenyans are not necessarily good borrowers. If you look at all the loan products that are there, mobile money or even bank products, most Kenyans are not good borrowers. You have 75% on most repayment rates, and if you have 75%, that means that in the first 14 days we lose, from our 408 million, we lose about 102 million. And it is sad, because if 50 billion, you just remove 25%, that's 12.5 billion. If the whole Hustler Fund is distributed and just a quarter of the people do not return the money, then that means we are losing 12.5 billion. If you do that in about 2 months, that money will be gone. The other issue that I have with the fund, of course, is because it's a government-led project. This country has not had a good relationship with accounting for money. We've had the youth fund, we've had the women fund, and I know supporters of the current government will say, give us time, but it's still Kenyans who are managing all those places. So I'm really hoping that this will be a different product. It's a wait and see for me. Of course, when the new phase is done in February of 2023, expect another video of me of just going through the new terms and conditions and then helping you understand who that part of the fund will be for. So I'll see you in the next one.